I'd like to introduce you to the Max 550 lift. This one's designed for multiple bikes. It's designed so you can actually lower the whole platform to the ground, roll your bike on, and lift it back up. The motor is a 1,000-pound motor. It's a 1,000-pound lift, but we minimize it to 550 pounds. That means you can have an actual 550-pound bike to fit on here. It has a 7-pin plug-in, which is attached to the motor system. At total weight, it pulls about 12 amps total current, 12 volt DC. The total travel of the unit is 22 inches, but we have a adapter plate where you can actually lower it another 4 inches if you have a high vehicle, or you can raise it up another 4 inches if you have a lower vehicle, because the object of the game is to try to get your bike up as high as you can. Everything is made out of aluminum, so it's structural aluminum that has been double hardened, anodized, and also machined to certain tolerances so the middle stem can slide in the upper stem. It has a controller that's up above, and what it does, it operates off a key fob. Now you can have an option to run key fob, or you can have just a retract and extend switch. The track itself comes in two sizes. This one is a 5 7/8 track, so it's almost a 6-inch wide track. It has an illuminated strip at night, so you can actually know where to run your bike on. It also has two positions. You can actually run it in this position, or you can move it out 4 inches if you have a wider bike. It also comes with an 8-inch track. If you have a adventure bike that has a large back tire, you can actually come with an 8-inch track. It's totally extendable from one side to the other. You can see a row of holes on each side of the tubes here. So you can literally shrink it or extend it. And the reason why it's like that, because no bikes are built the same. The weight of the motor is basically the heaviest part. So on a cafe racer, your motor is much further ahead. On standard bikes, your motor is much further behind. So what you can do is you can actually shift your motorbike this way, or you can extend it to make sure that your bike rides totally straight as you go down the road. When you're not using it, it comes apart in two pieces. There's a row of 4 bolts along the top. There's 2 from underneath, so you can remove this whole track system, lean it up in your garage, and then you just got the motor system that you can put in the corner of your garage. Right on the main stem, we have a thing that we call a ride bolt. So what the ride bolt does is it's an actual physical bolt that screws. What it does is it pulls the outer stem tight against the inner stem. So if your bike and everything is wiggling like this when you go down the road, you can actually tighten up the bolt and it will actually pull it all together, and this will operate as one solid stock. So you have a 1/2-inch aluminum over here, 1/2-inch aluminum over here, so you got a total of 1-inch solid structural aluminum pulling it together to give it the rigidity and support, because a larger bike takes a lot more effort. We found out that anything above 400 to 600 pounds, that's where this is comfortable at. Anything above that, if you look on the website, there's a dual hitch system with dual motors that will actually lift your bikes. For the moment, what we'll do is we'll run it down to the ground. I'll have to unplug the lights because it extends down to the ground. We'll run it down to the ground. So I'm going to pull the ride bolt out, stopping it from moving. So we'll run her down to the ground. This is 1,000 pounds, but we limit it to 550 pounds, just so we don't put a lot of stress on the motor. The duty cycle of the motor means that it can be on, totally lifting under pressure for 4 minutes, and then you got to walk away and let it cool for 16 minutes. So you always got to remember that, because you'll end up burning up the motor. So if you go up and down too many times in one go, you'll end up burning up the motor. So we want to make sure that you run it down, load the bike, run it up, tie it up. You'll have another option of going down one more time, lifting it up, and then you got to stop. So when it's totally on the ground, you're only 1.5 inches above the ground. And you notice if I keep pushing the button, it will actually push the back end of the vehicle actually up. It'll still keep on lifting the vehicle, because it goes 1,000 pounds that way and 1,000 pounds upward at the same time. So I'll grab a bike and roll it on. So as you notice, as we start to lift the bike, the whole back of the truck and everything is start to bend outwards. The hitch on the truck is actually physically bending. And you don't notice this when you pull a trailer down the road, but your hitch actually flexes as you go down the road. Just so you never have anything that sticks upright when you're attaching a normal trailer. So it becomes obvious when you put a heavy bike on that it's obviously going to pull it away from the truck. So we got a bit of a lean to it, so we'll wait till we get it to the top, and then I'll demonstrate how you can get it back upright again. So it's not a speed demon. I think it goes like 0.6 of an inch per second. So you just got to wait until it gets all the way to the top. If you have any problems with the system, you could phone our office, or we have also parts on the website, so if you're mechanically inclined enough you need to fix it, you can just go ahead and fix it. On the bottom of the main tube that goes down, we have a notch cut in, and the notch will actually ride on a bolt that we put in to take the pressure off the motor system itself. So you lift it all the way up, you put the bolt in, you run it down onto the bolt with the key fob, and then you tighten the bolt up, and that squeezes everything together and keep it tight. So if you notice, if you come to the back here and have a look at the direction of where the motor is sitting, we can correct that. Pull the pin out, there's a safety pin. So you can notice the distance from the truck and the way the bike is leaning. So you can literally ratchet it back. It goes in 3 degrees, 6 degrees, 9 degrees, and 12 degrees. So we'll actually pull everything back on center, and if you want, you can actually lean it towards the vehicle. So there we're averaging about 6 degrees. So you can notice that we pulled it right back up again. So that gives you a lot more leverage so that when you go down the road, your bike is not hanging off the back. You're actually pulling it back. You're putting the center of gravity more towards the back of the vehicle and more onto the center of the lift itself, so you don't have this huge weight that's sitting on the outside. You actually shuffled your weight, the center of gravity actually shuffled it towards the back end of your truck. From this point on, all we got to do is put the ride bolt in, tighten it up, run the machine down till it rides onto the bolt, run the lift down, takes all the pressure off the gears on the motor, and off you go. So this is the Multi-Lift 550. There are other options. It comes fully loaded this way with lights, the adjustable track. You got to let me know what size of track that you have, what size of tires that you have, what type of bike you have, if you have a fairing, if it's high off the ground, if it's low to the ground. I think it's a maximum of 63-inch center to center for the axles on total length of the bike. This is kind of the multi ones that go from like a 300-pound bike all the way up to the 550-pound bike. We also make a 450 and a 300 in the same type version in weight. So if you want a lighter version, you can get a lighter version, or you can end up with, if you just get the big one, that doesn't matter if you change your bike out and get a better bike or bigger bike, you can adjust it and keep it for the future. We got a KTM 390 Adventure on it at the moment. With this type of weight, it's no drama for this style of bike to go down the road. So this is the 550.